Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Team AC with Aaliyah Crawford. Today, I am joined by a recording artist, a recording and music artist, actress, philanthropist, and activist, Miss SuzannChristine.
Who that? Thanks for having me, Leah.
Oh, thank you for joining us, Sue. I'm very excited to have you here because you've been working on some big things. Like I said, you are an accomplished artist and singer and songwriter. But in addition to that, you've been involved in spearheading a very important initiative to have the city of Philadelphia acknowledged as the original music city. And the Philadelphia City Council just recently they adopted a measure to proclaim Philly the original I'm being tongue-tied. I'm tongue-tied, but Philly as the original music city, right?
Mm-hmm. That's correct. That's
Tell us
correct.
all about that.
Yes. So Philly is the original music city. And A, we just got to go back. We just got to think about how the city of Philadelphia next year in 2026 will be celebrating the semi-quincentennial, 250 years. We are the first city and of our country, America. We're a city of many firsts, and a lot of music came from this city, and so us being declared the original music city is no shade to any other music city that exists in our country, because we do agree that these are in fact music cities. We just want it to be known that we are the original music city, and that we are the ones who, we've been around longer than any other city on the map in America. And music has been made from the city of Philadelphia, from every genre, for all of these many years. And we're continuing to really be in the forefront in a lot of music, even today, from our musicians that we see even on the Super Bowl, and our musicians that we see on many award shows, our songwriters that are writing songs for A-list music artists, our producers who are producing for A-list artists, the managers that we have that are running around helping these artists, and the music execs that we have. I mean, we have a plethora of people running the music industry from Philadelphia.
And I'm from Philly originally, and I still live in the Philadelphia area. So, of course, and I'm in the music business. So I understand and am well aware of Philly's rich music history and all the artists and creatives that come out of this area. But can you talk about what makes Philly unique as a music city, and even some of the artists and producers and songwriters legendary that are from the area and are still even?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, we have, of course, we're going to talk about the sound of Philadelphia, the Kenny Gambles and Huff. But even if we go back to like musicians, like one of the first musicians that traveled across the seas is Frank Francis Johnson, African American musician who traveled overseas to perform for the Queen, and could be known as actually the first musician, not the first African American musician that did that in the 1700s. Okay, but if we just name so many people who are running the music industry or doing different things, we have the Troy Carters of the world, and even Mark Sherm, who's running Motown. I'm sorry.
I would say you have Patti LaBelle. You have
And the artists. Oh God, if we talk about the artists, we got the LaBelles that went to the Patti LaBelles. We have the Phyllis Hymans, Jean Carn, Kathy Sledge, who's constantly traveling the world singing, "We are family." So like it
modern,
runs.
present day, not well, everybody's still present day who you just named, but you have, Ty Tribbett, who's from the area, and Adam Blackstone.
Jasmine Sullivan. We have Tierra Whack, Santi Gold. And so there's so many, and then we get into the hip hop. We got
Freeway.
We got Meek Mills.
Meek, and Sue Chris.
Yeah, Chris. We got Freeway. Well, we already said Freeway. I was gonna say Friday, who's making
Hmm.
a huge mark on the scene right now.
Yeah, and I
His
just
first
found
big
out that
record
Friday
was
was from
Jay-Z.
Philly.
Say it again.
I just found out that Friday was from Philly. I didn't know
Yes,
that.
yes, yes.
I just
And
learned
that's
that
the
at the Roots
thing.
picnic.
We have to expose these things. I mean, you just named the Roots. We just had the Roots picnic, you know. And
See,
then
I mean, it's so
Diplo, we
many
go to our DJs, Diplo, DJ Drama, you know, DJ
active.
Active, who's on tour with Janet Jackson. We just saw him at the American Music Awards. I mean, Philadelphia's music scene is expansive, and you know, there's just no doubt that that's who we are. And it makes us unique because we have a sound that even those who came from Motown, even the Jacksons, they had to come visit Sigma Sound Studios, or they had to come uh, and go to Philly International
Hmm.
to get that sound. Like people had to come to Philadelphia to get that notable sound that you hear being sampled thousands and thousands of times, even by new generation.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Philly has always had its unique signature sound, and Philadelphia artists have a certain flair, a certain
And a soul, and a
style. Mhm.
soul. We have a certain soul that comes from um, our land. There's a certain energy that we have, and it's you hear it in music across the board. You know, not just neo soul, or not just soul music, or not just R&B music. You hear it in the hip hop. You know,
Yeah,
you
you hear
hear
it in the pop music, you hear it in the rock and roll, you hear
like
it in the.
Sabrina Carpenter is from right outside. She's Greater Philadelphia.
Hmm.
Taylor Swift is Greater Philadelphia.
Right, right. Hall and Oates are Greater
All
Philadelphia.
the notes.
Technically, I mean, I think it's debatable, but Bruce Springsteen, Asbury Park, that's not really New York or North Jersey. So that could even be said, it's kind of like the greater Philadelphia area.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, if people can take time to go to the Philadelphia Music Alliance's website and they see
Mhm.
all the inductees over the years, the 40 years that they've been in existence, just take some time to educate yourself, because it's so interesting when we post this, we got very small-minded, I would say, people who are just thinking, oh, well, we don't have this or we don't have that. And it's like, what are you talking about? You are just totally uninformed. And unfortunately, you don't really understand how massive and the role that we play as
Yeah,
a
Philly is a vibrant music city as far as artists, as far as performing, live entertainment, and also just some of again, the people behind the scenes, the writers, the producers, the music
exact
executives.
Aunt Brown, over at
Yeah.
Columbia right now. So
Hmm. Who are from this area.
yes,
Absolutely. So obviously getting an effort like this through, and having the city of Philly actually proclaim it being the original music city. Who are some of the artists and some of the other representatives
well,
who are involved with seeing this through?
so first off, before we get into the people who have been involved, this whole thing was started actually while I was in LA, and I was talking with Stephanie Sequel, who is your partner with in the academy, running the professionals committee for the Philadelphia chapter. And we were out there during Grammy week, and she just brought me up to date with some of the resolutions that were passed on with the music industry task force.
Hmm.
And she's like, these things have to be implemented. But now that we have the new administration, David O is not in office, things are kind of like have dwindled, and we really need to get these bills implemented. So she's like,
Hmm.
Dan, I know you have relationships in City Hall. So, see what you can make happen. Come back home, come back to Philly. She sends me the resolutions. We go over everything. And I present it to Councilman Thomas, because Councilman Thomas and Catherine Gilmore, Councilwoman Catherine Gilmore, are over the Illuminate the Arts grant, which helped our industry tremendously. While it helped the entire arts sector, music artists and labels have received that grant. It helped tremendously. And so I'll say, I think you'll be a great champion for this, and take a look over. He got a staff on it, and shout out to Max Wiseman and Carrie Park at World Cafe Live. Her and I, we teamed up. They teamed us up together and said, "Hey, listen, there's a couple things that need to get done," and they're like. One of the things that was on the resolution is just making us the Mecca that we are, and getting us the recognition that we should have. Philadelphia, when you type in music cities, we were like either far down the list or like not on the list at all. And so we said, you know what? Because we don't want to be the only decision makers, let's get some people to sit at the table to decide, what can we make happen? How do we want to brand our city? And we invited Deanna Williams, who was on the Music Industry Task Force, the mother of Black Music Month, Carvin Hagens, Grammy-nominated producer, songwriter, who did Your Music Soul Child, who's celebrating his, I think it's been 20 years since his album.
And that was someone who we did not name earlier.
Aaliyah,
this area goes on and on.
The reason why we're the original music city is because we have a plethora of amazing artists who have made a huge impact on the music industry.
For sure.
So name them all.
I'm sorry, go ahead. What'd you say?
We can't name them all. It's just
no.
We'll be here for days.
Create a list in advance. So now that this proclamation has been adopted and Philly has named itself as the original music city, what do you envision? What type of impact do you envision it having on the artists and musicians in the area, and the impact it will have on the local economy?
So our economy is thriving thus far, but it needs some help. It does need some additional assistance, some things that we can bring forth to light. There's an infrastructure here in the city of Philadelphia. There's live music, but people need to know, where can they find the live music? If you're not following the right curators, you don't know that the live music even exists. Treyway and AMH, they're doing like events every day.
There's events that are happening, but like you said, if you're not plugged in to the right people or following certain media, you may not know about it. And it may not always, I feel like the big events will get coverage, a lot of media coverage, in mainstream media, but not some of the more grassroots type things that are happening.
And so, and that's okay, because not everything is going to get huge media coverage. However, one of the things that we really want to see happen is a website, a centralized place with everything, all things Philadelphia's music city, and people can find out where they can get the live music every day throughout the week, where they can find the grants, where they can find the educational programs that would assist them. In addition to that, making sure that we fight for like our school district to receive the funding that they need to continue programs that will help young children become musicians and thriving musicians. For instance, my nonprofit organization, we received funding this year so that we could implement a program at Girls High School that teaches young, talented singers and artists what it truly takes to be a music artist on the professional side.
What's the name of your foundation?
SCH Creative and Performing Arts, and the program that we have in there is called the Fly Star program, and it gives them opportunities to meet industry professionals that talk to them about what they do for music artists professionally. We bring in people who do marketing, people who do PR, branding, and they learn. They're learning stuff like, oh, I need a bio. Okay, let me start to get my bio. We give them free photo shoots. so that they can like start getting their EPK together, get them on stage to perform so that they can get their performance reels together. These are like ways that they can be developed in school, learn what it truly takes, because a lot of us, we have talent. We just don't know how to make that and turn that into a business. Now, how do we brand ourselves and product ourselves? So, just to go back though to your original question, we want to be able to bring forth different activations. For instance, one activation that is in the works with Commerce Department, who's been a part of this mission, got us the research on our economic impact being $6 billion. That's our economic output, and the amount of taxes and wages that we bring forth from our industry. They are planning to activate the hotel lobbies with live music, which is great. As we are preparing for an influx of tourism in 2026.
It's fantastic. So how can people get involved if they want to help support this campaign of, Philadelphia being the original music city? Is there a way that anybody can support?
So first off, I would suggest them going to musicartistuniversity.com, signing up. You can create a free account. Information pertaining to Philadelphia Music City, especially if you say that you're from Philadelphia, you can be added into the newsletters and the emails that are going out in regards to the updates of things that are happening in Philadelphia. It's a membership. This is our community, but it does have music professionals and music artists are joining from other cities as well, but we specifically, more than like 90% of the membership is from Philadelphia. But yeah, I would say start there. That's where the majority of the communication came from for our advocacy day, where we're trying to, get city council to think of us when it comes to the budget. Right now, Creative PHL, has a lot of information that comes out via email in regards to the mural arts, which is great. But when I see these emails talk about artists, it's not much that comes through for music artists. And we want to see more of that happen. So we're asking, city council to consider, increasing the budget for Creative PHL specifically to create and curate more activations around Philadelphia music industry.
That's awesome. And the website again that people can go to is musicartistuniversity.com.
That's correct.
Okay, awesome. So I just want to segue. Congratulations again, and kudos to you for all the work that you've done and that everyone has put in to have Philly rightfully proclaimed as the original music city. But I want to talk a little bit about SuzannChristine, Sudat, and your art and, your music. So how would you describe your sound in your own words? I know it's a blend of a lot of different genres, but tell the people a little bit about your music.
Yeah, so I'm all shades of R&B. So shades of R&B include your R&B pop, your R&B hip hop, your R&B soul. So, whatever you think of R&B, we're going to go over here with the R&B. We're going to go over here with the R&B and over here with the R&B. It's rhythm, it's blues, but it's going to the left and the right and up front. And I love that because I don't like to be an artist that's too limited. We don't want to tell an artist that they can only paint pictures and they can't do sculptures, but primarily known for my R&B, sometimes I get into an R&B disco vibe, so I've had some great work. My last project was Vibrate High with D. Angeletti and Vidal Davis. I really enjoyed doing that project that kind of really showcased more of my R&B soul side. It felt Philly. It felt really Philly. But yes.
Speaking of something feeling Philly, how do you think being from Philadelphia has shaped you as an artist?
Well, probably 100% shaped me because I grew up here. I grew up here. I grew up listening to Philadelphia music. I grew up listening to Vivian Green. I grew up listening to Music Soul Child. I grew up listening to Patti LaBelle, Phyllis Hyman, uh, Jill Scott. And those artists had huge influence on my sound, I believe. I feel like I stand on their shoulders.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The neo soul era was like in my preteens
Mm-hmm.
when it came out, and I loved it. I loved it so much. And sometimes it comes out. It comes out when I'm performing, but then, outside of Philly, some of my other favorite artists were like Whitney Houston and Tina Marie, and they have influence on my sound. Mary J. Blige and Keisha Cole, they have influence. So, certain songs, like if I hear a track and, my spirit is automatically feeling the track, and I hear something, I'm ready to create to it.
Mm-hmm. So, you are a professional working music artist, and I think it takes a lot of courage and a lot of ambition to be a professional artist and to go down that road. So, when did you know, or how did you know music was your calling and that you were going to do this as a professional? It wasn't just going to be a hobby or something that you love. This is going to be how you earned your income. When did you realize that, or what made you realize it?
So, to be honest, I had a ton of programming that made me feel like it couldn't be done, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, I went to college, I did this, and I was always doing music. I mean, music has been a part of my life for all of my life, like as far back as I can remember. There was never a time. And it took for me to work at a company while I was like burning both candles of the stick,
Mm-hmm.
going to bed 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, sometimes 4 o'clock, getting up, trying to go to work, getting a paycheck, and me just being miserable and saying to myself, there is no way on earth that I can continue doing this for 30 more years. This is like slavery. I
Mm-hmm.
just couldn't see myself. I was like, I don't know how these people around me have been here for XYZ amount of time. I don't know. Okay. But somewhere I'm going to have to put my faith in God to allow me to continue doing what I do, to continue doing what I love to do. And it took me to just say, I'm going to take a leap of faith. I'm going to ignore the people who try to make me feel like it's impossible to make happen. And I took that leap of faith. I quit the job. I put out my first music video. And literally, I will tell you, Aaliyah, 6 months later from that time, I received a phone call telling me that I won a contest out of 1,400 people nationally, and that I would be performing at Radio One Fest in Miami, Florida at the amphitheater.
Wow, that's beautiful.
And for me, that was God, universe, whatever you call your source energy. That was what really, really, that's what I needed. For
Yeah,
me,
that
no,
confirmation.
that was confirmation. That was confirmation for me. That's all I needed. I was rubbing shoulders with different DJs. My songs started playing on the DJ shows, on the radio. And this is around the time where Yusuf Muhammad, he was starting to produce shows. He had me doing a lot of Live Nation shows, opening up for Music Soul Child, opening up for Ryan Leslie and Keisha Cole. And from there, it was just like, God must want me to do that. Like, because if not, I don't think I would be even getting these opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. Like they say, the universe will make room for you, will make room for your gifts, so that's great that you just stepped out and the momentum has kept going and kept carrying you and will continue to do so. So that's a beautiful story about how you really stepped out on faith and decided to dive into your career as artist. So what advice would you give younger artists and creatives coming up, and even specifically those in the Philadelphia area. Is there anything you could share from your experiences?
For sure. Well, first off, if you're good and you know you're good at what you do, your talent, whether it be songwriting, singing, rapping, you have some money. It does take money. It is a business, you know. So understand that, you know, that's something I wish I knew. I had a ton of money. I had a great song. I could have invested that money into the song. I didn't know that. It was a lot of learning that I had to do. So my advice would be, if you're going to, you know, leave a job and you have a lot of money stashed, have the song ready to be invested into, you know. Make those connections with your PR and your marketing people, because that's what it's going to take. You know, put yourself out there on social media. You cannot be scared to do those things. But the first things first is constantly look yourself in the mirror and talk to yourself. Train your mind to be prepared for this industry, and be prepared to say you believe in yourself every day. Because if you believe in yourself every day and act like you believe in yourself every day, that's when all the doors will open. You'll be able to attract all that you want, all that you need, who you need, you know. And then also be patient and trust the process. Trust the process, enjoy every peak and every valley that life is going to bring you, and that the journey is going to bring you, because it's more about the journey than it is like destination.
And exactly, it is about the journey. And I love what you said about just having the confidence. That confidence is key, and that consistency is key. And something that young artists always ask me about, different things about the music business. And so I'm so glad that you said that it is a business, and it's about investing in yourself. So you have to, from the beginning, start out looking at it like a business, even in terms of the financial piece. Yeah, make sure that you have built up enough money that you're going to be able to invest in creating your product, your music, and be able to invest in your appearance, you know, and your marketing, so that when you perform, and obviously you have to market and publicize your music so that people can buy it or can come to your shows. And so even approaching it like starting a small business, you may want to put together an investment package and present that to family and friends and colleagues, and have them actually invest in your business, because that's what it is. And it is going to take money to get things off the ground. And that's why, you know, sometimes people sign with labels, but a lot of major labels already want you to have some sort of foundation. As you know, or if you do the independent route, then you're going to be spending all of your own money anyway. So either way, you have to build up some sort of equity in, you know, in order to fund your endeavor as an artist.
For sure, you are investing your money and you are investing your time. No one is going to want to invest into you without you investing into yourself. I remember being at my job and working on my website. I remember doing that, paying for my website and actually working, designing my website myself. Like, that was the time I was putting into myself. You know, I remember singing songs so people could hear my voice and posting them on YouTube. I remember writing my own song to songs that were already out, just so songwriters and producers could see what I was capable of. In fact, I'll never forget, you know, me posting like a YouTube video out got me into Sigma Sound Studios, you know, and, you know, had I not done that, I might not have been invited, you know, because they saw that I was something that they were looking for.
And you were showing up and you were putting yourself out there.
Yes, show up is not an easy road, but it can be done. And decide how far you want to go. You know, you determine what success is for you, you know.
Absolutely, absolutely. So where do you see yourself in the future, let's say the next 5 years, both as an artist and as an advocate, in terms of your advocacy work?
You know, it's so funny, the advocacy work, you never know what God has in store. You just never know, like, what is down the road. I had really no idea that I would be in this role, but I am fully committed to the role. I love the role that I have, you know, the passion that I have for advocating for our industry. And when it comes to music, because of the advocacy work I have put in like so much time. There was supposed to be a song released, but a new song out. It's like the song is not out right now because I had to handle something that was very important, and like now is the time. Like I can't delay.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it is just constantly setting an example of being an independent, successful artist. I love my independence, and I really truly love my freedom. I love being able to still walk outside, and some people know me and some people don't know me. We don't know what's going to be in store with the universe will bring. One song can change everything. And I might not be able to walk outside anymore. Freedom gone. But
Right.
I will say, I just want to continue being a successful independent artist, continuing to put out music, continuing to advocate, continuing to give back to the youth, continuing to enjoy what it is that I love to do, and being able to serve the community. That's what I want to be able to continue what I'm doing. And potentially getting back into theater, because that's my really first love. That's how I grew. And theater is something I may be going back to New York to like get on Broadway and doing that thing. So
that's awesome. So how can people stream your music and connect with you on social media, share all your info?
Yes. SuzannChristine on every platform. SUZANN, no E, autocorrect. Christine, CHRISTINE. And you can also put in my hashtag SUDAT, SUDAT. And that stands for spiritual, unique, divine, artistic, and thankful. That's who I am. And that's everybody's a SUDAT if you are spiritual, unique, divine, artistic, and thankful.
Love that.
You can find me SuzannChristine or hashtag SUDAT.
Awesome. Well, thank you, SuzannChristine, for the art and artistry that you are contributing to the world. Thank you for the efforts to have Philadelphia proclaimed as the original music city. It is. Hey, hey, Philly in the house. And continued success to you. And thank you so much again for joining me on this platform and joining the team at Team AC. We really appreciate it, and kudos to you and continued success.
Thank you so much, Leah. I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks, everybody. Until next time, peace.